A beloved mail carrier, a house on fire, and a smoldering mystery consuming a devastated family.
Somebody started that fire.
Her grief-stricken daughter puts two and two together.
She was afraid of somebody.
And she says it adds up to murder.
You believe there was someone else here with her on the night she died?
100%.
Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, a big city with a small town feel.
The houses are fairly close together. I don't think a lot happens in this neighborhood without other people noticing.
And nobody knew the neighborhood better than Laurie Merritt, a vivacious mail carrier whose route was as much pleasure as business.
Everybody loved her. If somebody was sick on her mail route, she would take them food, take them whatever, just to comfort them. Laurie wanted everybody to be happy.
But there was one home on her route that wasn't happy. The one Laurie shared with her longtime live-in boyfriend, Paul Kasakowski.
From day one, nobody liked him. Not my grandparents, not my aunts and uncles, not her friends. He was very controlling. He didn't want her to have any guy friends. He was super jealous.
After 17 years of bickering and breakups with Paul, Laurie calls it quits for good.
She told me she was finally going to start living her life, not worrying about what she does, not caring about what he thought of her now.
But for months after the breakup, Laurie's brother Joe says Paul couldn't let Laurie go.
She said that she would come home and she would find Paul looking in the windows. He'd be around her house, stalking her. And that's when I said, Laurie, something's not right here.
And then, Joe says, Laurie had enough of the drama and drops this chilling aside.
One day she came to me and she said, listen, I'm done. I don't care. She said, if I'm dead, Paul killed me.
That April 14th is a Monday, much like any other. Laurie works her route, delivering the mail, makes dinner, faxes her taxes, and makes several phone calls, including one to her good friend, Ken Hoon.
We were talking about food and things like that, and she was in the process of getting me a recipe, and she said, I'll call you tomorrow with the recipe, as if it was nothing.
But sadly for Laurie, tomorrow would never come. That night, a neighbor notices smoke coming through the roof of Laurie's house.
My grandmother called me and she said, your house is on fire. And I'm like, where's my mom? She said, we don't know. Everybody's calling her, no answer.
Firefighters desperately searching the house for Laurie, but she's nowhere in sight. Then they pull down the steps to the attic. Inside the cramped space, they find a small 4x4 patch of smoldering flames and horror. Laurie is lying face up, her iPhone by her side, her lungs full of smoke and soot, still alive, but barely.
They said you need to go to the hospital, it's not good.
Tragically, there's nothing doctors can do.
She was pronounced dead a short time later of carbon monoxide poisoning and smoke inhalation.
And Laurie's family is overcome by grief.
We're a close-knit family, and after she passed, all that kind of went away.
But through their tears, her family says something about Laurie's death doesn't look right. Their first question, why didn't firefighters look for Laurie in the attic on their initial search?
The reason they didn't go up into the attic is because there was no steps there.
Where's the attic?
It's right over here.
Jeff and Kristen show me the process of getting in and out of the attic. It's not easy. In fact, the first part of the ladder leading to the attic is detached.
You need these stairs right here.
They're actually leaning up against the kitchen door.
Once they're up, they're wedged in there. There's no way they could go down.
What did the firefighters tell you?
They told me that they walked in the house, searched the house 3 times, and I said to them, are you sure those steps were not down? They said, absolutely.
That's strange, Kristen says, because it would be impossible for Laurie to disassemble the bottom half of the ladder, set those stairs against the kitchen door, then climb back up by herself and be trapped up in the attic.
It's almost impossible to get those stairs down once you're in the attic, so she wasn't alone.
You believe there was someone else here with her on the night she died?
100%.
and the family's alarm bells go off when the state's fire marshal issues his report.
He determined that it was arson, that there was combustible material in the attic space that had been lit by someone.
The fire is declared an arson, and Laurie's cause of death is changed.
At that point, the coroner's report, which was initially that this was an accidental death, changed to undetermined.
Somebody started that fire.
But is it possible that somebody was Laurie herself?
Was she smoking cigarettes at the time?
She did smoke cigarettes, yes.
Do you think she would go to the attic and smoke a cigarette?
No, she would not let you smoke in her house. She always came out here on the porch.
The cigarettes that she did smoke, the state police fire marshal did a test on it and put it in a pile of hay and did all kinds of tests and couldn't start a fire. That cigarette couldn't start a fire.
To Laurie's family, it's just not adding up. So Laurie's family does some digging and theorizing on their own. Authorities aren't commenting on this open case, so we can't verify their claims. The night of the fire, Joe searched Laurie's house, looking for anything to explain what happened to his sister.
I did my own investigation. I went into her bedroom.
It's there that Joe claims he finds something that sends chills down his spine.
She had a gun permit filled out, ready to go. So she was afraid. She was in fear of something.
And Joe says he knows exactly who Laurie feared, her ex, Paul Kasakowski.
That's how he controlled her, is by fear.
Paul.
Paul.
Reporter Sarah Bynafsky has covered the story for our Wilkes-Barre affiliate, WNEP.
Some of Laurie's family members believe that she was in fear of him and that their relationship was volatile and that he was perhaps responsible for some of her emotional turmoil or created issues with her, created fights with her and problems.
Laurie's family says it's more than emotional turmoil. They say Paul refused to let Laurie go, and that led to some odd behavior, including this text from Paul to Kristen.
Before your mom passed away, you get a text message.
It was from Paul, and he tells me that to prove that he's been spending time with my mother behind my back, he planted notes in my house and told me where they were supposed to be hidden. We found at least a half a dozen notes, and then one of them he wrote, "Hi, Chris." I felt like they were targeted at me, like he was trying to drive me and my mother apart. So I just told him that he was pathetic and left it at that. I wasn't gonna give him a reaction. He was just so obsessed with her. Normal people don't go planting notes in somebody's house for their daughter to find. It's really strange.
But Paul insists to cops he was nowhere near Laurie's house at the time of the fire.
What is Paul's alibi?
I believe it's that he was at home with his mother, sleeping. That's what he told the police.
Paul Kasakowski has never officially been a suspect or even a person of interest in the case. But there's one more phone conversation, Kristen says, that puts Paul's alibi into question. The call Laurie had that night with her friend Ken Yoon.
It was a normal conversation until the end. And what she said was, "Oh, Paul's coming home, I gotta go."
Right. Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Laurie's family takes all their evidence and allegations to police.
I told them everything I knew, and they scribbled down on a little notepad. I had notes, I had evidence, and they didn't take it seriously. They didn't even keep what I gave them.
Both the Wilkes-Barre police and the Lunsor County DA declined Crime Watch Daily's request for an interview, saying they are currently awaiting some information before any comment would be able to be made.
At this point, you feel the investigation was not thorough?
Not at all.
There's one person the family thinks can answer all their questions, but after 17 years in their lives, they say now Paul's making himself scarce.
After your mom's death, did Paul come to the hospital?
No,
Did he reach out to you?
not at all.
Did he reach out to any family member?
Nope.
Laurie's heartbroken family wants to know why, and we want to help them get answers. Laurie's daughter Kristen and brother Joe are convinced Laurie Merritt was murdered, killed in a fire they say someone intentionally set. Kristen and Joe have deep suspicions about Laurie's ex, Paul Kasakowski, and they refuse to remain quiet.
He was just so obsessed with her.
Joe alleges Paul's obsession turned to furious rage when he saw flirtatious pictures from other men on Laurie's phone, one of them sent that very night.
And half an hour before she died, she sent him a cartoon of he can't wait to see her with a cartoon picture on it. And whoever was there, whether it be Paul or somebody else, saw that picture. And I think that's what started the fight.
But was that fight with Paul Kasakowski? Ever since that horrible night in April of 2014, Joe and Kristen say they haven't heard one word from Laurie's ex of 17 years. So we reached out to Paul to clear the air.
Our goal is to get his side of the story and to figure out what happened here, to try to hopefully give Laurie's family some answers.
Hey, Paul. Hi, I'm Michelle Sagona from Crime Watch Daily. How are you?
Good.
I'm coming out today, and we're working on Laurie's story.
Okay.
We're trying to figure out what happened inside of her house that night. Who do you think could have done something like this to her?
I think the victim of the fire, okay, was the person who lit the fire.
You do?
I do.
Why do you think? Do you think she committed suicide? Or do you think it was an accident of some sort?
I hope it was an accident.
Did you have anything to do with her death?
Absolutely not.
Nothing at all?
Absolutely not. I told the investigators that. They gave me a voice polygraph, okay?
They did?
Yes.
Did you pass it?
I don't know. I never asked.
But you did
I
submit
had no
to
fear.
a polygraph.
Right.
And you did submit to
I
their
had no fear
questions.
of it whatsoever.
Tell me, when was the last time investigators called you?
The day after the fire.
The day after. That was the last time?
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Yeah.
As for that night, you did not go to the house at all.
I was not at the house. I
Even
wasn't
after
even in the neighborhood.
You weren't even in the neighborhood.
After telling me he is completely innocent, Paul Kasakowski hit me with a shocking claim. Kasakowski told me Laurie wasn't upset with him, but she was livid with her own daughter, Kristen.
Was she upset about anything?
Oh, she was very upset over her daughter. She was very upset over her daughter, not, you know.
What's wrong with her daughter?
Well, she left a note for her, she told me. And she said, I left her a note, and she did not do a damn thing I asked her to do. Nothing. She said, that kid doesn't help me. She does absolutely nothing for me.
And those notes Paul left for Kristen to find, there's a reason for those.
You did text her daughter and say,
Yes.
I left notes in the house.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Because Laurie was telling the daughter the direct opposite.
Laurie was saying that the relationship was over, but in reality it wasn't. Did you know Laurie was dating someone else or seeing someone else? You didn't know?
I heard that she was, you know, hitting the bar scene and seeing somebody, and, you know, the brother-in-law told me, like, oh, stay away from Laurie, you know, she's been with somebody else now. It didn't matter. I love Laurie very much.
Do you still love her? Do you miss her?
Absolutely, I miss her every single day.
This was tragedy for you as well?
You have no idea.
So why has he cut off contact? Paul says he's gone out of his way to avoid the family drama.
Talk to me about the funeral. Did you go to the funeral?
No, I didn't.
Why?
Why should I make a bad situation even worse being there? The family told me that night when they called. You know, they said, you know, what did you do? What happened? What did you do? You know.
So they've been pointing the
son,
finger at you from day one.
From minute one.
What is your message to the family?
They have to stop blaming me.
You're tired of it?
Stop blaming me. I did not harm Laurie. I did not.
I don't believe a word he says. Paul should be given a lie detector test.
But Paul told me he took a lie detector.
Paul did not take a lie detector. He took a voice stress test, which is a bull test.
At this point, we have to make it clear he has not been named a suspect and or a person of interest in all of this. And at this point, your goal is...
Just want the truth. That's it. All we want is the truth.
Investigators' latest hope? The truth may come from the iPhone found at Laurie's side in that smoldering attic.
They obtained a computer program that did unlock the phone, but we've not learned what's on that phone. They'll keep it close to the vest until there's something to share.
Until any new answers come to light, Laurie is never far from this heartbroken family's thoughts.
She was the best. She was the glue that held our family together.
And nothing will break her daughter's relentless fight for justice.
I'm not giving up, no matter what. I know somebody did it, and somebody deserves to go to jail for that.
Kristen says the only thing that helped her get through the loss of her mom was the birth of her daughter, who was due exactly 9 months from the day her mother passed away.